in the hope of securing their long-term commitment, they can become absolute nightmares.
Alec Pierce making $30 million a year. Like, that just don't even sound right. It's crazy.
NFL franchises will hand out incredibly large, multi-million-dollar contracts to players. So today, we present to you 10 of the worst deals in the NFL right now that'll make you cringe. Deshaun Watson, QB, Cleveland Browns. Is it any surprise that the worst run team in the NFL currently has the worst contract in the league? The 5-year fully guaranteed $230 million deal that the Browns gave quarterback Deshaun Watson was a huge mistake before the ink on the contract was even dry. Cleveland sent 3 first-round picks, a third-rounder, and 2 fourth-round picks to Houston, and then handed out the largest fully guaranteed payday in NFL history. And ever since then, they've gotten almost nothing for their investment. Instead of the elite play that they were expecting, the Browns have gotten suspensions and injuries. After being accused of and settling over 20 allegations of sexual assault, Watson was suspended by the NFL for 11 games in 2022. He returned for the final 6 games of the season, but it was uninspiring to say the least. After that, it's been a strained rotator cuff and fractured shoulder in 2023, a ruptured Achilles tendon in 2024, and a re-rupture of that Achilles in 2025. All 3 injuries requiring surgery. With all those issues, it's surprising that he hasn't retired. Oh, yeah, also, the fully guaranteed $230 million? Yeah. In the long run, Watson's deal has provided limited production, crippled the Browns' ability to field a competitive team, and will hinder the ability to compete in the future. Chris Godwin, WR, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chris Godwin's a good wide receiver. He's not elite, he's not great, and he's in no way deserving of the massive contract that the Buccaneers signed him to in 2025. But he is good. That 3-year deal included $44 million guaranteed, with an average annual salary of $22 million. For 2026, he will carry a $33.7 million cap hit, a number that places him at the top of wide receivers in the league. Tampa Bay has not gotten a fair return on this investment, as last season Godwin only started 6 games, had 360 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. That came after the 2024 season when he started 7 games, which begs the question, what were they thinking when they agreed to this contract? Nick Bosa, edge, San Francisco 49ers. When the 49ers signed Nick Bosa to his huge 5-year, $170 million extension, locking down the 25-year-old defensive star seemed like a clever idea. Regrettably, it wasn't. In the years since signing his extension, Bosa's numbers have really regressed, with his sack totals falling from 18.5 to 10.5 and 9 in 2024. The torn ACL ended his 2025 season after only 3 games and 2 sacks. San Francisco is now stuck paying premium production money for a player who enters the 2026 season as a big question mark. Tua Tagovailoa, QB, Miami Dolphins. It's really sad when a player is no longer with the team, yet his contract continues to haunt the organization. And that's precisely the case with the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa. Miami spent an entire season tanking for Tua with the hopes of selecting the Alabama product in the 2020 draft. And they got their wish, but not the result in which they were hoping for. Actually, drafting Tagovailoa did far more damage to the organization than he did to help it. His supporters like to point to his magical 2023 season when he led the Dolphins to a playoff appearance after an 11-5 record and a league-leading 4,624 passing yards. Yet, his production steadily declined after that season. He's also had a long injury history with hip and, more seriously, concussion issues. The next hit he takes could be his last. Things eventually got so bad that the Finns decided to release Tagovailoa and absorb an astonishing $99.2 million cap hit to get him off the team. That decision has crippled the team's salary cap situation and hampered their ability to build a team. Now competing for the starting job with the Falcons, Tagovailoa has a chance to resurrect his career. But unfortunately for Miami, they continue to suffer from the financial implications of his deal. Chris Jones, DL. Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Jones has achieved many accomplishments throughout his 10 years in the league. He's made 7 straight Pro Bowls, earned 3 first-team and 3 second-team All-Pro honors, been a part of 3 Super Bowl championships, and currently has one of the worst contracts in the NFL today. Entering the 2026 season, the Chiefs' defensive lineman will carry an enormous $44.85 million cap hit, which is the highest non-quarterback cap hit in the entire league. The problem is that his salary no longer matches his on-field production. He did have 7 sacks last year, but experts point to analytics that show declines in pressure rates and impact numbers. TJ Watt, edge, Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt enters the 2026 season in the middle of a 3-year contract extension signed shortly before training camp in 2025. The problem is that the contract is a huge overpay for a player who's on the declining slope of his career. The $123 million extension, which carries a whopping $42 million cap hit in 2026, is another example of a contract meant to reward past performance, but has now become a major production-to-cost concern. Watt, who has been named to 8 Pro Bowls, has 4 first-team All-Pro honors, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and a career total of 115 sacks, and is absolutely a Hall of Fame caliber player. Unfortunately, we're currently watching a diminishing athlete. At 32 years of age, he's not going to get any better. Having a player like Watt, who will have cost the team almost $94 million in salary for a diminishing on-field product, will severely limit Pittsburgh's ability to overhaul this roster. Alec Pierce, WR, Indianapolis Colts. Has any organization ever tried to build a team by paying elite franchise money to a wide receiver who not only doesn't deserve it, but also is surrounded by a limited roster? It seems like the Colts are attempting to be the first to ever do it. In March of 2026, they signed Alec Pierce to a 4-year, $114 million contract that includes $84 million in guaranteed money and an average yearly salary of $28.5 million. All that for a wide receiver who's only surpassed 1,000 receiving yards once and has never had more than 7 touchdowns in a season. Pierce has never had more than 47 receptions in a season, which means that giving top-tier money to a player who is a specialized threat represents a questionable allocation of team resources and a question on the sanity of the person who okayed this deal. Pierce is a good receiver who'd be a threat on any team, but is still severely overpaid here. TJ Hockenson, TE, Minnesota Vikings. It's fair to scrutinize the 4-year, $66 million extension that TJ Hockenson signed with Minnesota in March of 2026. I mean, it is astonishing that the Vikings actually signed him to this monstrosity of a deal after seeing a dip in production over the last 2 seasons. He's failed to surpass 500 receiving yards in either of the last 2 seasons. And despite that declining production, the Vikings still gave him elite-level money. In comparison, 49ers tight end George Kittle, his contemporary, makes slightly more money overall, but carries a lower cap hit, and produces at an elite level. The bottom line is that Hockenson's contract creates a financial burden for a player who no longer deserves it. Dan Moore Jr., OT, Tennessee Titans. If someone asked them, although they'd probably never admit it, the Titans made a colossal mistake when they signed defensive tackle Dan Moore Jr. to a 4-year contract worth a total of $82 million with a guaranteed $50 million. In addition to those giant numbers, Moore's deal also carries a behemoth $26.3 million cap hit. That's the type of contract usually reserved for the game's best offensive lineman, of which he isn't. In fact, Moore's deal ranks him as the NFL's 3rd highest paid tackle, right behind Tristan Wirfs and Penei Sewell, who have made a combined 9 Pro Bowls. In contrast, Moore has made 0. During his final season with the Steelers, Moore led the league with 12 sacks allowed, and as an encore, after signing his mammoth contract with the Titans, he allowed 8 sacks and gave up a 25 pressure total, which ranked him in the bottom 3rd of all tackles. He's a below-average pass protector making elite-level money, which creates a cap burden for the organization. The restrictions that Moore's contract inflict on the team's ability to address other areas of roster concern while offering almost no return on investment is a massive burden that this team just cannot afford, especially during a rebuild. Jeremiah Love, RB, Arizona Cardinals. There is one major difference between Jeremiah Love and the 9 other players on our list. You see, he's yet to play a single down of professional football. Drafted by the Cardinals with a 3rd overall pick at the 2026 NFL Draft, he was immediately given a fully guaranteed 4-year, $53.02 million contract. Love represents a major investment and a major gamble by Arizona. It's a risky move to give record-setting guaranteed money that dwarfs what veterans are currently making to a running back, which is a position that traditionally doesn't exactly age well. Of course, at this point in time, we don't know what type of player Love will be, or even if he'll still be in the league in a few years. And yet, he's still going to be getting a load of money. Generally speaking, organizations that attempt to build a team by investing large capital into a running back, as opposed to a quarterback, offensive tackle, or pass rusher, usually don't fare well. Love is now forced into immediately performing at a generational talent to justify his cap hit. The only problem is that he plays for the Cardinals, who continue on an extended rebuild. With almost no margin for error, the likelihood of this deal working out is slim, thus sending Arizona on yet another the rebuild. But hey, what do you think is currently the worst contract in the NFL? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.